Good evening. Good afternoon. Hope everybody's day going well. Just trying to send out a couple invites here. We're gonna get into it, man. YouTube just don't be sending my stuff. Just give me a second. Just give me a second here so I can send these invites out here. Do, 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 do. Hope everybody's day going well. Gonna get into it in a minute. Mm-mm. Big day in news today, man. Big day in news. All right, there we go. Ain't gonna play this yet.
Fired last month after.
All right. One second. Give me a second here. I'm just trying to send some invitations out now. All right. Boom, boom. All right. Hey, man. What's going on, guys, man? If you're here for the first time, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell so you can see when my videos are coming out. Yes. I want to get into this Brian Flores case now. Are you guys paying attention? Are you seeing how big business get down? First off, get your support channel. I'm gonna show my sponsor. Drinking on that coffee today. Drinking on that coffee. See, I'm trying to I've been on my fat stuff for almost a year. Gained all this weight. So right now I'm trying to fast. So anybody has any tips on keto or fasting or any tips like that? Because it's hard for me to work out these days. I'm just so busy. But if you got any tips, man, let me know. Right. But I'm sure one of the sponsors here. Definitely support this right here. Check out one of our sponsors, afjcworldwide.com. That is afjcworldwide.com for our latest apparel, homeware, and drinkware. Definitely get a shirt for your husband, wife, doesn't matter. Again, check out afjcworldwide.com. Definitely support afjcworldwide.com. Got my cup. Good evening, guys. Well, good afternoon. I hope everybody's day is going well. If you haven't hit that like button, YouTube is doing funny stuff, man. They funny style, like Tariq Nasheed would say. They ain't sending stuff out, man. But you can help me out. But anyway, let's get into it, man. This situation with Brian Flores. Now, this is nothing new. This is nothing new with the NFL. In my opinion, it's not going to change. But I want to know what you guys think. You can leave it in the comments. What do you think about this situation? And I wanted to ask the people, have you ever just had to shut your mouth when you should have spoken out at work because of fear of losing your job? You probably got baby mamas, family, kids, and you're seeing some injustice at your job. your place of business, and you just decided shut your mouth, shut your mouth and dribble, if you will. You saw some racial tendencies at your job. You heard some conversations. You heard some conversations at the water cooler. You saw some nepotism going on. I remember working this job, and it was crazy because it was a minority group. It was a fat, black folks. There was probably like one or two white people working there, and I just remember this lady was more than qualified for this job. She got the supervisor position. Then she started talking reckless about the owner. She's talking. She got her feet up on the desk, whole desk sitting out there, sipping on her drink, sipping on her drink like this. Got the phone in her hand and just thought she was the stuff. Then she go and start talking about the owner, saying how fat she was and talking about her relationships, going on talking. This is when the days of flip phones, I think. This is flip phones. I don't think they had recordings like that. But the owner's niece came in and said, open the door. Oh, you gonna talk about the boss. You done. Next thing you know, she fired. They fired her. Like she did good work. You ever get fired? Anybody hit a one in the comments if you got fired from a job before, and you did a good job at the job. So she gets fired. Now the security's coming in. They treat her like she's nothing. Security coming in. They gave her two boxes. She couldn't even put her whole stuff in there, man. And security escorted her out the door. She was doing a good job, but the lady fired her for whatever reason she wanted to fire her for. Have you ever been in a situation where you saw some injustices at your job, but you folded under pressure because you was like, "No, man, I got payday rent due. I can't mess around with that. I can't mess around with that. You're not gonna fire me. I need my monies. I need my coins. You can't fire me. Please, sir. Please, please." That's when we start acting like slaves again. Please, Lord B. Please, I need my money. Please don't send me out of this plantation. Please, Lord, please.
I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Have you ever said anything when something wasn't right? Did you ever speak up? You probably did. Are you supporting this? Are you supporting Brian's claim? Are you? Are you telling him this? Just shut up and dribble. We all know there's some issues in this league we have because it's not just the league, it's the owners, billionaires. Billionaires do what they want, they sleep with who they want to, they have the most power and the most ego in the world. They'll crush you. You know how people say, well, start your own business. They will crush you. I'll give you an example. I was watching this show on Amazon Prime. It was called America, People Who Build America. Check that out. But this one particular story was this is when everybody had kerosene lamps in the late 1800s. And we had these inventors. You had Tesla, Nikola Tesla, in Westinghouse. They were in Pittsburgh. Shout out to Pittsburgh. A lot of talent there. And they were starting the AC electricity. And then you had Morgan. I'm gonna get his name. Let me make sure I get his name right. But I'm just sake of telling this story. Yeah, but anyway, um, man, I don't. Have to look it up. But anyway, so Morgan was so powerful back then. Let me make sure I get his name real quick. J.P. Morgan, that's what it was. He was a. That's why you got to be, the bit we talk about business. That's why you got to have some cash on side, man, so you can do your thing. But J.P. Morgan, J.P. Morgan ran the United States. J.P. Morgan ran the United States back in 1900s, and he had the money to do whatever he wanted. Before United States had a central bank, they had to go to J.P. Morgan to get money. That's how powerful J.P. Morgan was. And now J.P. Morgan wanted to get into uh, the electricity industry, and he partnered up with Thomas Edison. So you had them and Thomas Edison created the DC Electric. Now, if you know what I'm talking about, you can correct me in the comments. So they're battling. So it's DC, it's Morgan, J.P. Morgan, and Thomas Edison, and then over here you had Tesla with the AC, and you had Westinghouse in Pittsburgh, Westinghouse, and they were sitting there trying to win these accounts. And this is the time when they had kerosene lamps, so we never saw electricity like this before. Long story longer, Westinghouse ended up winning the account at what was it? Niagara Falls, and this is how ruthless billionaires are. Tesla had a bunch of patents, and they couldn't get funding because people was like, "Well, I'm not going to fund you because he got a bunch of patents." So Tesla wanted to get the AC electric out there. So he said, "Well, look, we'll just rip up the contract. We'll just do it." So Westinghouse ended up winning the account at Niagara Falls. That's where, and if he got the account at Niagara Falls, that means he lights up the whole Northwest with his account. So J.P. Morgan came in. This is all before regulations and everything, right? So J.P. Morgan came in and said, "I'm losing too much money. So this is what we're going to do." He said he went to Westinghouse, said, "I'm gonna sue you for all your patents, and I know you don't have enough money to battle me because I have a lot of money to keep you in court, and you will go bankrupt. So you might as well just give it to me now." So he handed over all the patents that Tesla did. So now he controlled AC. Now, even before that, what he did was, because back in the day, you had to, if you go to the media, because the media still today is the most powerful entity, and put lies in the media to make people scared of the AC. What he did was he executed the first black man. I mean, not black man. The first man, he executed him with electricity, and he used AC, and he was saying, "This is what happens. This is what happens if you use AC." And they fried this man alive. Look it up. This is how ruthless these owners are. Then he basically strong armed Westinghouse, saying he was going to sue him. Then he got Thomas Edison out of there. He said, "Get out of there." He went it behind his back, but Tesla's not Tesla, but Edison's stock. He bought 51% of the company. Said, "You're done." Dude just took his apron off and threw it down the ground and walked out. And he owned it, and he changed the name and took his name off the company. What happened to Steve Jobs? Same thing. All this to say, you cannot beat a big business. Roger Goodell has no say so on what those 32 rich owners do. There's nothing you could do. When it comes to an owner, you can cry all you want. All they say is, whatever statement you say, it's without merit. It's without merit. That's what they say. The term without merit means, for people who don't know, that no legal bias exists to the acceptance, allowance, and crediting of the claim, defense, or legal argument. That's all they have to say. Prove it. It ain't what you say, it's what you can prove. And my question is to you: who's going to stop eating? Who's going to shut up, or who's going to speak out, knowing that you may lose? You might get on that stand and crack, and that attorney chew you up. They was like, "Hey, were you the man that was there on 4 o'clock p.m.?" You like, I think so. It's crazy, man, because Brian, he has some talent. Brian used to. It's crazy that Brian used to work for Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick hired him to this coaching staff as a pro scout in 2006. Then Bill Belichick promoted him. He worked his way up through the ranks. Put respect on Brian's name, man, because Brian saved Bill Belichick and Tom Brady's legacy. Let me tell you why. You remember when they was about to lose to Seattle? The reason why that cornerback was in is because of Brian. Brian put him in against everybody's will because he saw the talent that he had. Then guess what? He made a play at the end of the game. What if he didn't make? What if they had somebody who didn't make that play? That was big. That could have, when you lose a championship, that can ruin the whole franchise. Or if you lose before that, because they're investing, everybody's investing in this one team. Perfect example. If you look at LA Lakers 2000, LA Lakers 2000, everything was riding on them winning the championship. And when they was playing Portland, they was down by like 20 points in the fourth quarter. And Phil Jackson, he just sat there and said, "If y'all want to go home early, go ahead." He didn't coach that whole fourth quarter. So Kobe, Shaq, Robert Ory, Horace Grant, if they lost that game, they was going to blow that team up. And they end up winning. So everything rides on you winning or losing if this team going to stay together. And Brian Flores came in there and made a executive decision to put that backup cornerback in there, and they end up getting an interception on Russell Wilson and winning that game. It's a fact. So my question to you is Brian Flores getting Colin Kaepernick?
I'm like, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Is he getting Colin Kaepernick? Or people going to get behind him? Because big business has no heart. Big business is like the streets.
He called. She belongs to the streets.
Big business don't care about nobody. There's a code of ethics. They will take you out. People shook, scared to look when it comes to businesses. When it comes to losing your livelihood, how many people in the check-in ever lost a job and lost everything they had? They ain't trying to do that. So they got to say, yes, massa, whatever you like, massa. Because businesses, the reason why Brian lost his job, one of the reasons why Brian lost his job is because he did what he didn't do what they paid him for. You know? When anytime you work for a job, they really don't care about what you can bring to the table. They want you to do what they want you to do. That's why agents are hired. That's why because the owner cannot be the big boss. They can't. They don't want to be. They don't want to be the mean person. They want to be the nice guy. They're like, yeah, everything's fine. They look at the killer. They got killers on their team that would say, you're done. They hire people to be ruthless. The same way gangsters do it. You know, there's certain people who won't kill, but they hire some dudes that take you out.
He called. She belongs to the streets.
That's what businesses do. They ruthless. The reason why, and I'm not a progressive by far. No, I'm more independent. But the reason why the progressive movement started is because capitalism, because these owners was going too hard. Andrew Carnegie, there's libraries all over Pittsburgh, but I got families that work in that mill and they were killing people in there. They didn't give two craps. Thanks for the cash out. You support the channel. Definitely support this channel, man. We live LR Josie LRJ report 412. Support the channel. But they're ruthless. Business owners are ruthless, man. They need regulated. You need a referee. Can you imagine not having a referee? You ever play sports in the hood? No referee. I was there when playing basketball with people, and they did not get along, and someone got mistreated, and they was going to run to the trunk and get a gun. Everybody scared and like, go, 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 go. That's what happens when the people govern themselves. You need rules. You need a republic. You need rules. And shout out to the Rooney Rule. Shout out to the Rooney Rule. Right. The Rooney Rule was groundbreaking. I mean, think about it. Washington, whatever their name is now, they don't call themselves Redskins anymore. But shout out to them. I mean, no. I don't want to shout out them. No. I mean, let me retract my statement. I'm sitting there looking at something real quick, but back in the day, and this is what I say about racism. Racism is a race. It's a race to the wealth. That's what it is. You know, you get a group of people that look like you, and you're racing to get all the resources. That's what it is. You know, the problem that African Americans have, in my opinion, is they're not playing team. They're a bunch of AIs. I like to call it the AI syndrome. Everybody want to drop 50 points on their own, but they don't want to. But they keep losing the game. They don't want to help each other. They don't support. They don't go on people's channels. Like if you got a media channel, they don't support it. They don't support. If you got a product, they say, "Well, hold on, man, you making money off of me? Nah, I'm a buy from the white man because the black man can't make money off of me." Let me play my sponsor. Check out one of our sponsors, afjcworldwide.com. That is afjcworldwide.com for our latest apparel, homeware, and drinkware. Definitely get a shirt for your husband, wife, doesn't matter. Again, check out afjcworldwide.com. You can't make money off me, bro. You look like me? No. We got to buy from the white man. Can't have money, but if it's a celebrity, they're like, "Why you hating on LeBron?" We got a bunch of LeBrons in the neighborhood. Nobody support. But wait, LeBron will. If you saw LeBron or somebody else like that, his wife would clutch her purse and they would lock they Lambo like boop boop and drive off. They don't know you, but the person next to you who got that business, you ain't supporting. Then you want to say, "Well, why can't we get along?" And but that's what's going on here. Let me see here. OJ, who was OJ Simpson's lawyer? His name. Put it in the chat for me if you can. What's his lawyer's name? I know you had Robert Kardashian. What's the other dude? Mm, what is dude's name? Making a point here. That's why I need the dude's name here. Johnny Cochran. That's what I want to say. Shout out to Johnny Cochran. Everybody want to talk about the Rooney Rule, but they don't put the respect on Johnny Cochran's name. Johnny Cochran is the reason why Michael Jackson was out of jail. Some people think he should have been in. Some people don't. I don't believe he should be in there. God rest the dead. God bless the dead. But the Rooney Rule was basically requiring the league's teams to interview ethnic minorities. It didn't say hire because you can't tell people who to hire because they can say there's a legal term that they can say, I'm hiring the best candidate. That's an open-ended question or answer. Who's to say who's the best candidate? If we look at what's his name? Tomlin. Tomlin was not the best candidate to be hired. So we're looking at that basis. What is the best candidate? People say right now, they'll say when they defend Tomlin, which he's a great coach. When they defend Tomlin, they say, who are you going to replace him with? There's nobody out there. Isn't that hurting the case of Brian Flores because he's not getting an opportunity? When Mike Tomlin was before he was coaching, he was working with Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy was trying to make change. People don't put respect on Tony Dungy's name. This is why it started. The reason why the Rooney Rule started is because of Tony Dungy and Johnny Cochran. Tony had a winning season. Follow me. Tony had a winning season when he was coaching down there in Tampa Bay when he got fired. He's winning. And they when he got fired, that's when they started doing this lawsuit. And Dan Rooney was in charge of the he was the former chairman of the league diversity committee. So that year 2002, Tony Dungy gets fired after having a great season. Danny Green was the boss in Minnesota. You remember when he was like, they are what we thought they were. He gets fired after having won his first losing season in 10 years. He gets fired. So the U.S. civil rights attorney, Johnny Cochran, basically came in there and released a study showing that black head coaches, despite winning a higher percentage of games, were less likely to be hired and more likely to be fired than their white counterparts. That's how this all started. Somebody had to stand out and protect these players. You know, I think the first minority head coach was hired back in 1920. I think his name was like Fritz Pollard, I believe. But when people say there's no candidates out there's a lot of candidates out there that need to be hired. But then I think about this. When you talk about we need more minorities to be interviewed because you can't and hired, that is going down a slippery slope. And the reason why I say it's going down a slippery slope because African Americans are not the only minorities. You have 32 jobs. So are you saying black people, or are you going to lump in the all these other ethnic groups to come in there and try to take that one job? And then you have to think. Now, this is the objective perspective that I'm saying right now. So let's just think outside the box here. Don't get angry at what I'm about to say. But when you have like, as a business owner, because of the laws that they put in place, it is much more of a liability to hire an African American than it is anybody else. And this is why I say this. Because what if that African American is not doing a good job? It's going to be so hard to fire them, and they might have to spend so much money trying to get rid of them because they're going to say, "You fired me because I'm black." So, of course, some people would look at it like, "Well, I'm not going to even hire them," and you can't. It's like again, it could be without merit because in Georgia, they don't need a reason to fire you. I don't know how it is in other states. They don't need a reason to fire you. They can fire you for anything. You sneeze wrong, yeah, just pack your stuff. You have to go. So is he getting Kaepernick? Is he going to get another job? Which I don't believe he's going to get another job in the NFL. Um, Maybe he's not going to make change because there's a difference. Like certain people did it. You know how they talk about LeBron James and they say, "Look, LeBron James, he's making money. He's changing the landscape of the industry, and it's all because of Oscar Robertson. For people who don't know, Oscar Robertson was trying to get off a certain team back in like the '60s, and he fought for free agency. So give a shout out to Oscar Robertson for that because before they really owned you, ownership. You know what I mean? Like this is the new slavery. Basketball is the new slavery. I mean, athletes they own you. And Oscar Robertson fought for free agency. So shout out to him.
He called. She belongs to the streets.
And in baseball, a guy named Kurt Flood, he sacrificed his career. He was playing for, I believe, St. Louis Cardinals. And they traded him to Philadelphia in the 69. Really good player. What happened with him is he said he didn't want to play for Philly because they were racist there. And he didn't like the treatment that he was getting there. So he fought them, sued, and lost. But he got blackballed in 1972. He never played baseball again. But he opened up the floodgates because the MLB said, "Hey, maybe we should open it up and let them have a free agency." And that's why today they're making so much money, making $500 million for a contract because of that guy. But this is different because it's one thing when you're a player because you're actually doing the work. Coach, not so much. They have that thing, like I said, they says, we're going to hire the best person for us. These are owners. They can do what they want. They can hire who they want. And they have attorneys to use that wording that they can cover all their P's and Q's. The Rooney Rule. Ask yourself, it happened in 20 years ago with Johnny Cochran out there leading the charge. What did it help? Did it get better? It got worse. 3 years ago, well, 2018, there was 8 African American coaches in the NFL. Right now, there's 1 holding on for dear life, and I don't know what's going to happen when because Roethlisberger's not there and they didn't replace the quarterback, but that's another video. What's going to happen There's one black coach with a league that's 71%, 70% black. One coach. Now the NBA is a little better because I think they got like 32 teams, 29 or 32 teams. They have 14 African American coaches. NBA is doing well, but they only had one black owner. One black owner. I'm gonna drop the link real quick if you want to chime in. If not, I'm gonna rant for a little bit and make sure you check out the show tonight. It's gonna be a big show. T&J Radio tonight. We're gonna get into it. That's the other channel where I talk. I don't just talk sports. I talk politics, talk lifestyle stuff, and trending topics. Shout out to my boy Will Thomas. So check that out. Yeah, but I'm gonna drop the link right here. If you want to chime in for a minute or not, it's fine. I like the rant anyway. Yeah. But if not, when you check this out, man, chop it up on the comments, man. Appreciate that. Now, like I said, I appreciate the cash apps and the super chats, whatever. But there's only one black owner in the NBA, and that's the great Michael Jordan. He actually owns the whole team. And Bobby, was Bob Johnson the dude on BT? Smart man. He sold it to a black man. What happened to still what's his name? The owner in LA Clippers. What happened to that? It was so much racism over there. And the boycott was trash. All they did was put their shirts on backwards, but they played the game. And when he sold the team, he sold it to another white owner. When are we gonna be done with symbolism for real? As African Americans, you got to be done with symbolism. That's the problem. You can't change the hiring practices. I mean, that's the only thing you can really change. You can't tell somebody who to hire. So I want to ask Colin Kaepernick. He sacrificed his career. What changed? You're still watching football. People still get shot in the streets. I mean, did you just want Jay-Z to make a fabulous concert? That's some slave stuff, man. So he got Dr. Dre performing, and everybody's excited, like, ooh. The only way you're going to change something is you got to stop them from making money, because you may say somebody's racist, or you may not, but let's say they are. They think about themselves before they're racist. Let me give you an example. Washington Redskins, when they were named the Washington Redskins, I heard they're going to be called the Commanders or something now, something stupid. But they're going to reveal the name for Washington. But anyway, back in the 30s, the owner of the Redskins was so racist, he didn't even hire any black athletes on his team, and they were trash.
I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
They were trash, and they were kept on losing. So this is what I'm saying: racism, and you look at their personal interests. Their personal interest was always go beyond the racism. Now they were losing so bad that they decided to hire some black running backs, and then all of a sudden they start winning. So they're racist, but you're making me money. That's what happens. That's why, and we should look at it because, like, we are so great in athletics. We're so great with athletics that they don't, despite how they feel, they're just happy you're making them money. So what changed with this, and what are we going to back him? I I enjoy this the game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I enjoy football. I didn't watch it when a couple years ago I stopped watching, but are you going to continue to watch it? That's the question. If the reason, and another thing that Brian said, and I'm gonna play his audio in a minute, because he was on the show with CBS talking about what's happening, but I'm gonna play it. Are we going? Are people going to back him? Like, and I'm saying backing meaning we got 70 in NBA. I mean NFL. 70% of NFL players are black. Are they going to boycott? Are they going to stop playing? That's how you make change. The Super Bowl's coming up. That's the biggest party in the world. They're going to make billions. Follow me. Oh, I see you, Will, in the chat. Give me a second. But there's billions. You need to stop it. Don't show up. Don't go on the field. Black people stop watching the show, but you're not going to do it. You're going to continue to watch it for your selfish reasons. That's the only way it's going to change. Because if you go to court, they're going to win. They got $1 billion. They never back down. But anyway, let me get that collar on real quick. What's going on? You're on mute.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Hey, you're great. What's going on, man?
Man, just looking at this stuff. You brought Johnny Cochran into the building, but yeah, it's kind of crazy what's going on. Like you had said, the Rooney Rule doesn't necessarily say that you have to hire someone, but you got to be able to at least get an interview.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, well, is this what everyone wants? Are we going to get to a point where we say there are a certain percentage of black coaches that have to be hired? And then, like you had said with the minority stuff, all that's going to do is it's just going to dilute the black coaches out even more.
Absolutely. I think it's just a waste of time to me. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, like I said, when I brought up the free agency, that was different. You know what I mean? That helped everybody because they had options. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like when you're an athlete, to me, you work for them, but you're kind of a self-employed person. Like it's like a 45, 55 or something. You know what I mean? So you have
Right.
options, but like when it comes to coaching, you don't have that. There's so many coaches out there, right? And I just so many coaches and not enough jobs. Like you think about it, there's 32 jobs in these sports. In basketball or football, I don't know how many football players, but in basketball, there's like 400.
Right.
So if you're good, if you're at the top of the chain, you have options. You know,
Right.
like nepotism don't work when you're LeBron James. You know what I mean? Like LeBron is an investment. So he's going to beat, racism or whatever. He's just going, he got the power, but like a guy who didn't get a chance to play, I mean, the coach, like you're sitting there, you have to, like, coaching is different. Like you have to go through the whole channel to get up there. He went under Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick hired him as a scout, and he moved all the way up on his own. Great coach, but obviously, and this is another thing I want to say. I get your opinion on it. But did you hear about the claim that that Brian said? He said that they tried to pay him $1,000 or $100,000 a game to lose this season. What's your thoughts on that? You there? I don't hear you, but
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I said, who is they? Is that the team?
The owner for Miami. He said the owner said that you need to tank the game and I'll pay you $100,000. Now, again, this is something that they said the attorneys will always say because it's hard to prove that. We all know it goes on, but this is something where the term is without merit. You know what I'm saying? You're saying something without merit. So go ahead. I'm listening.
Right, but let's go down that route. Let's say that was so.
Mhm.
They're like, we want you to lose, tank the season, pay you, 100,000 a game or whatever. At that point, I hope that Brian Flores is not going to use that as his argument, because that's going to blow his whole racism thing out the water. Because that team, they're trying to get good top draft picks, and we always talk about it as fans. Once it's not a good team and stuff, you get to say, like, some people were saying about the Pittsburgh Steelers, like, man, they need to just tank this season. We talk about it all the time, but you would never think that the ownership would say it. So if the ownership saying it, I don't think they would say it and want to pay that money with the intent of firing him, but it's with the intent of trying to position him with better players. Now, this coach, he may have an attitude of like, look, I'm out here trying to win. I'm not trying to play that bull crap game, or you know how some people end up thinking of it,
Hmm.
which that's fine. It's fair. But if that's the case, that has nothing to do with race. That's to do with the way that upper management thinks compared to how lower in the field management thinks. And those things in anything, at a job, at a regular job, in a small business, anything in football, the two don't usually match in the way that they think about things.
All right. So here's the thing with that. 'Cause I think that's more of a discredit. Like if let's say they went to a jury and they trying to sway the jury, but isn't that um what I would say is like a Pete Rose situation? That's a big deal. If it comes out to be true, that means you're tampering with the results of the game, and that is bad on the brand. And if that was true, I think the 32 owners would try to, or the 31 owners would try to get him, that owner, out the game because it's messed up everything, and it's so much lawsuits. What you think about that when it comes to gambling?
Right. Well, it's a problem when it's made public, but we know that it goes on all the time. I think about the Colts and the year that they were having the suck for luck campaign, and I think they ended up winning one game. Now they weren't able to say out front that we're looking to tank because they have fans, they have investors, they have media deals and things like that. So from that standpoint, you're not allowed to say these things, but we do know that it does happen. So that it's a dangerous game. The thing with Pete Rose, I would say that that's
It's the same
slightly
thing, though. It's the same because he was the coach.
right. Well, I would say it's the same if they were saying it for the purpose of monetary gains, but what they were looking is probably to position themselves with draft picks. So it's like an indirect monetary thing.
Wow. Yeah. Um. Definitely. But if it's proven, he he'll be out that league because they don't like you say. It's something that is not said. You can't say it, but you do it, and that just shows that owners don't care about nothing because the athlete is going to support them anyway. That's why certain teams is going to lose with like Detroit. They don't care because the money's still coming in. You're still going to show up at the bars. You're still going to. I'm a diehard fan. That is the problem with fanatics, man. And this is why nothing's going to happen with Brian Flores and nothing's going to happen with the Rooney Rule, because the support is always going to be there. They know you're not going to change. You are the consumer. You're the ones giving them billions of dollars. And if you're going to sit there and watch this Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one's going to. And then I blame the athletes because you got to look at it like you're not going to quit because you're making a lifestyle, you're making money, and this is the only thing you've been doing, you've been dreaming about. So you're like, that's their business. Thoughts? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you were right dead on about that. The athletes they are not going to band together and protest this. Only time the athletes typically protest is if it directly has to do with either one or a lot of their own, whether it's to, increase their paychecks directly or whatever it is. But I don't think that the athletes really care so much about this. This isn't the NBA, or this isn't LeBron, so to say. So the athletes, they don't really care so much about who their coach is. They just want to be able to get paid. Some of them want to win, but unfortunately, with today's culture, a lot of them they could care less about that. They just want to get paid.
They sit. Yeah, you're right. They sit up in their box and just this is just one of my businesses that I'm profiting on. Even like the guy that owns Chicago Bulls. The reason why they wasn't good before and wasn't good after is because the owner really did not care. He owned them in the White Sox. He didn't care. That's why he just hired somebody who ran it, and he didn't know what was going on. He didn't even know the players really, man. But I want to ask you that question. Have you ever, it don't have to be a personal situation, but shut your mouth when you should have spoken up at work because you feared losing your job? You saw some
Yeah,
injustice there. Go ahead.
I mean, on low level situations, or I'll put it like this: I've worked jobs where, at the end of the day, I regretted it later. Not trying to down anyone, but there were some things that were, they're kind of sleazy. Some of it in the lending industry, some of it in the education sector. There were things where they said it was about one thing and it wasn't about that. And at some point you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, do I want to keep doing this, or do I want to keep getting this check? But the wiser me, who's also in a better financial situation, would say I can get the check from somewhere else. So eventually I came to that point in decision. But with these, in essence, in reference to the current athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that most of them, the majority of them, are not good with money. So missing that game check, I don't care if the game check is 100, 200, $1 million, whatever it is, for the average professional athlete, missing that game check, that's going to cause some problems.
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yep.
you don't have a lot of Rob Gronkowski's or Ocho Cinco's out there who, save their money.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's an incentive on their end that they're like, hey, this don't got anything to do with me. As long as I'm getting paid, I'm gonna keep playing.
That's a fact, and nothing but the facts. Oh man, great man. Now is there anything you want to leave us with, man? Anything you want to say?
Well, definitely. Thank you for having me on. I heard you got a pretty good show going on tonight. Um,
Appreciate it.
you know, at TNJ Radio. Also heard you had a pretty great co-host, on there.
Mm-hmm.
That guy William Thomas. He seems great.
Right, right, right. Definitely, man. But I'll let you go, man. Appreciate the comments.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Hmm. Yeah, man. Definitely, man. Leave a comment below. Uh, let me know what you think about this situation. You think it's going to go away? You think this is going to change things? Does someone have to be sacrificed for change? Are you going to continue to support the NFL? You know um, the way they treat their players. You got the CTE uh, issues going on where they're not taking care of their players, and but we continue to watch it because we like to watch a car accident. We like to see them hit each other and throw the ball, and you know the culture of football, which took over Sunday church service. Like you got pastors out there who will leave early to go watch these games, and then we also have the biggest party ever, the biggest party ever when it comes to the NFL is the Super Bowl, and there's a lot of money being made, a lot of gambling. Nobody, a lot of gambling, a lot of commercials. Because they know all eyes is going to be watching that game, or you going to watch it. Truth be told, I'm watching, but it ain't about me. But anyway, that's that. I got to head on out, man. Definitely, I'm going on tonight. T&J Radio Show tonight. We're gonna chop it up. Politics and oh man, it's gonna be good, man. So check out T&J Radio. I put that uh in the description box. But 10 o'clock tonight, yeah, and definitely support the channel, man. Cash App. Play my sponsor real quick. Check out one of our sponsors, afjcworldwide.com. That is afjcworldwide.com for our latest apparel, homeware, and drinkware. Definitely get a shirt for your husband, wife, doesn't matter. Again, check out afjcworldwide.com. And again, thank you for supporting JSN Live. And I'll see you on the next one.